No, why? You can't hit a moving target. You can't hit a moving target. It's much harder. If you say to someone, I want you to run that way, do you then go over there and say, oh no, I changed my mind, run that way, and then run that way, and then run that way? No, you say run that way, go as fast as you can, get to the finish line. But when we plan, I know what I want the kids to be at the end of the day, but they don't know where I want them to be at the end of the day. What is this, a guess what's in your teacher's mind game that we're playing? How about you just start your day off and you say at the very beginning, today we're going to try to understand the meaning of Surat al-Fil. Is everybody in on this? Because last week we learned we memorized Surat al-Fil, but this week we're going to try to understand what it means. Now, what just happened? The child in their head just said, okay, we have 45 minutes, I'm going to learn what Surat al-Fil means. So they know what the target is. They're on that journey with you to get to that target. Versus you know what the target is in your head, and they just kind of there for the ride. And some of them get to the target, and some of them don't get to the target. So please make sure your students know the objectives for that day. If you don't know the objectives to that day, then we have a problem. So that's where sometimes teachers will walk into a classroom and they're winging it. And believe me, kids know when you're winging it. And the best of us do it at times, but if you're not prepared, kids will know. Assessment, how will you know that they got it? It's not always a test. It may be, after we understand what Surat al-Fil means, I'm going to ask you to break up into groups of 2 and give me another example we learned in history where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected the Kaaba or the Muslims or whatever He wanted to be protected. That's assessment. That's better than a test. Then, if you have, I believe your classroom sizes, mashallah, are somewhere between 13 and 18, yes. Right? 13 and 18. You've now broken up the groups into 2, which breaks it down to about 6 groups, very doable. Give them 3 minutes to come up with the idea, have each group stand up and report it, and then in about 6 or 10 minutes, at the end of class, everybody's walking away, not just having learned what Surat al-Fil is, but having then explained to the class another example of how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected something that He loved. You've just taken the students to Bloom's taxonomy of analysis and evaluation. You've had students learn from each other if they didn't get it from you. They all knew what the target was. And then the class ends with a good wrap-up, and you didn't have to do all the talking. They're actually teaching each other. Okay, so plan with the end in mind. Have an assessment which is as collaborative as possible. Maybe sometimes just walking away with the kids having said what they learned versus always taking the short quiz. You know, we overvalue written assessment, but not all students do well at written assessments. And our faith, I don't remember the Prophet ever saying to the Sahaba, all right, now I'm going to give you a quiz. Everybody sit down and take out what we learned. Okay, he recited the surahs, the wahis. The Sahabas memorized the wahis. And then he lived them. He taught them by example what they meant. And then they practiced it. And that's how the Prophet knew they got it. And if they weren't practicing it, the Prophet knew they didn't get it. And another lesson was needed. Think about the visual, auditory, kinesthetic learners. Plan realistically. What I mean by that is you have some students in your classroom that just need to move. You must have different types of learning for those students. And I'm so sorry, I need 2 volunteers. We're going to do men because it's going to require, can I have you as a volunteer? Do a volunteer? How about you 2? There you go, you 2. Okay. All right. This works great for kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, always with rules beforehand. Gentlemen, you may not hit each other with it. You may not hit other students with it. I'm asking you to tap on something. That's the only thing you use this for. Are you ready? Okay. Somewhere in this room is the word for door, written in Arabic. This could be for an Arabic class. Can you find where the word for door is in Arabic? And can you go swat it with your fly swatter? It's a big room. Swat it. Okay. I know he's learned the word for door. I didn't say the word door. They both get a chance to swat it. They both win, and we move on. There's very easy ways you can do that, for especially the younger students. They need to move. It's the kinesthetic learners. They need to move. Now, if they know at the end of this lesson they're going to get a chance to do that, what do you think they're going to do during the lesson? They're going to want to learn what the word door is in Arabic so that when it's their turn to hit or swat with the fly swatter, they're ready for it. Okay? So you've got the kinesthetic learners now engaging. When kinesthetic means movement, means someone, and the learners that really do need to move, we all have them. And then you have them engaged in the actual learning part because they know the kinesthetic part will come later. I've even said to students, Christos, I know you need to move. And you drive me crazy when you need to move. So I have a deal. You need to move. You get up. You walk over to the side of the classroom. You can move from foot to foot. You can do whatever you want. There's only a couple of requirements. One is you cannot make eye contact with any other student, because as soon as you make eye contact with them, I have lost eye contact with them. And I need their eyes on me. So you can move, but you will look down when you move. You move, you shake yourself, you do whatever you have to do, then you go back and you sit down. Rule number 2, no noise. You can do that, but you can't make noise as you're doing it. So 1, the eye contact is still on me as a teacher. 2, he's gotten the energy he has out of his system quietly. And 3, he goes back to his seat. So do what you have to do about the different lessons and the different ways that you have learners. There's a lot of different lessons that I'm going to give to you. You have this sheet, so there's a lot of different things that you can ask me later. I'll give you my email and my phone number. Please feel free to call me. But one of the lessons is cards for matching vocabulary. And I want to cover, I know your classes are Aqidah, Sira, and Quran. Okay? So any of these could be used for anything. That doesn't have to be used for Arabic. It could be used for Islamic studies. It could be used for what do you say before you begin anything? Find the phrase, swat it. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Another lesson is you can do the memory game. Everybody loves concentration on the memory game. Ladies, will you play with us? Okay. I have these cards. One of them is the name of a prophet. The other one is what that prophet is known for. Can this be assessment? Sure. I mean, this is assessment. You can make these cards yourself. I have students who love to make cards like this. I mean, all of us have 1 or 2 students who are just the kind of I can do this, I'll do this for you. So you get those students to work for you, and you get them to make these cards for you. So you show them one deck, and they make 3 other decks for you. And then, again, your classroom sizes, mashallah, being 13, 14, 15, you break them up into groups of 2 or 3. You've suddenly made them into groups of maybe 3 or 4 groups. Very, very manageable. All right, go ahead.